Today, I am here because I want to address a couple of things. It's so many conversations, so much energy happening around this Megan and Nicki beef, but y'all need to understand that it's bigger than that. And I know that a lot of my subscribers believe that already. And so, before we get into it, I want to address a couple things that's been happening on this channel in the past couple days. In my last video, or one of my last videos, I talked about Bigfoot by Nicki Minaj and my first reaction to that song. And because of what I said in that video, a lot of you guys had just opposing comments and stuff like that, which is amazing because that's what we're all here for. We're all here. We're not always going to agree, and that's totally fine. But for some of you to sort of like unsubscribe from my channel, like that's totally fine. I've given you over 200 videos on Nicki Minaj, on speaking positively on Nicki Minaj, and trying to turn back the narrative around her on the internet, which is why I even started this channel in the first place. But in doing so, I want you guys to understand that this right here is not a stand environment. Okay. And it will be very remiss of me to not come on here and support Nicki while speaking my true opinions. And for those of you who want that, that is amazing. That there are spaces for that. But number one, we are not always going to agree, and we're not always going to agree with Nikki. But you know what we will do? We will always stand up for her and support her at the end of the day. So when I say this is how I feel, but make sure that you guys go and buy and stream the song, that is an indication that that is what you need to do. And so I just want to say to thank you though. Thank you if you're still here and if you're listening to this video right now, and for not treating me differently just because we have a difference of opinion. And that's how I know who the real ones are and who the mature ones are. So I appreciate it. So yeah, make sure you guys stay to the end of this video because I really do want to talk about the beef a little more, because there's just more conversations to be had before this round even gets wrapped up. And so in hindsight, back and I didn't even say that Bigfoot was bad because Nicki had amazing bars on there. And we need to address that there are several different fights going on. Megan is just level one. We all know that Nicki is fighting the corporate giants and machines that are against her. In this situation, it is Rock Nation, and it could be coupled with Atlantic and 300, all of the other companies that Megan is affiliated with. Now, another reason of my campaign is that Megan may have won this battle, but I'm still gunning for Nicki to win this war with her and Rock Nation. Now, although I may not agree with Nicki Minaj and her 48-hour to a week-long now rant on Megan Thee Stallion and this whole situation, I believe that Nicki is not only trying to rattle the cage with Megan, Nicki is trying to rattle the building at Rock Nation to activate like they did this week and use tactics to push Megan up the charts to make it seem like she's doing better than she actually is. And if Megan goes number one on the Billboard Hot 100, then that is a showing of Nicki Minaj's power. And it's so funny because had Nicki and Meg did a collaboration or their collaboration together, Hot Girl Summer, this song is going to perform even better than that, which shows you the like how do I say, like the negative, it shows that like people want to prove, like people want to use Nicki so much like negatively to even prove the success of their artist. And that's what Nicki is trying to prove, right? As she did the same thing with Cardi and Atlantic. And that's why like I would hate for Megan to go number one off of Nicki's back for real, because she gave her way too much promo this past week. But and here's the other thing. I cannot wait to see Nicki's total plan for Rock Nation come through. I think that I definitely feel like Nicki moved off of a lot of emotion this week. And I think that like as Barbz, as fans, like we can disagree with Nicki, but also support her. And that's my whole existence right now. That is my whole argument right now. It's just like the way that she moved. Nobody said that you can't defend your family, but you gave her much more than two lines was deserving of. And that's honestly fine too. I really don't care. Had Bigfoot just existed alone without all of the lives, boom, she would have won. That's it. But like it just clouded so many people's judgment for real, including my own. And I'm not going to say that she didn't have bars in there, because she definitely did, and gag worthy moments, but the gag was messed up because we gagged before then. But anyway, in the second fight with Rock Nation, people are not understanding that Nicki has a bigger beef, with Jay-Z and Rock Nation. And I think that there's two different battles here, and I feel like we need to fight Megan off and then go for Rock Nation, go for Jay-Z, Desiree, whoever, all of the executives that she wants to go for. But that strategy, that fight has to be different because you can't release a diss track on Rock Nation. Who gonna respond? I mean, Jay-Z could respond or not, but how do you release a diss track on a company? And before y'all get, crazy in the comments, I'm not saying that that's what she's gonna do or that's how Nicki plans to fight it, because I do believe that she has a plan and has a strategy, but it has to be different than what Megan is doing. And I think that Nicki, like, sort of like is discombobulating a little bit her both of her fights, because I think one needs to happen and then the other one can happen, because a lot of the GP people who are not really paying attention, they truly are confused and they want to understand what is Nicki's beef with Rock Nation. We all knew that Nicki had a beef with Atlantic and they were trying to take her down, but specifically what is going on with Rock Nation, and that is getting lost in all of the other talking that's going on. This video was also going to seem discombobulated because there's just so many thoughts that I have to say. But there was also discourse on Twitter amongst the Barbs as to, like, quote unquote, whose fault is it? Like, this whole beef this past week. And my thing is like, to blame the Barbs is crazy, because why did the Barbs go live and start playing a diss track on Meg? Did they go live and start trashing Meg? What was different about this song? Megan and Nicki have been going back and forth for years. What was different about this time? The only difference was Nicki chose to react immediately. And while I'm so glad that Nicki set the record straight and said, "Stop coming from my husband," because that is just a weak diss, for real, coming from any of the girls. If you want to come from me, come for me. Like, if you want to come from me in the comments, come for me, not nobody I'm affiliated with. But I really wished, I really thought that Nicki learned her lesson from the Lotto situation, from going off on Twitter, and how that, gave her so much clout up in the moment. We see that in the long run, it did nothing for Lotto's career. And we're also going to see that with Meg as well. But why give these girls so much clout? You should have just kept it in the music. And then the conversation that we need to have with Rock Nation, that's the one that has to actually be a conversation. This with Meg was highly unnecessary. Maybe in my upcoming videos, we'll talk about what are the good qualities of a diss track, because that's the other conversation, is that, like, depending on who you talk to, there's so much mixed feelings and mixed ratings about Bigfoot. And I definitely feel like we should have a conversation about that so that we're all working with the same information. That's what I like to do. I like to have conversations where we're all working with the same information, even if we come out with different opinions. So that's it for me for right now. I know this video was jumbled with a lot of thoughts coming from a lot of different directions, and I may have some more, that are more organized. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I know that things are calming down now, but when it heats back up again, I hope that we show more tact in how we come at the situation, for real, because at the end of the day, I'm always going to love and support Nicki regardless. Just because I disagree with how she went about this situation doesn't take and any of the support that I'm going to show her. And that's what I think you guys need to understand, for real, is that people can disagree, but also still support, because at the end of the day, we're all family. So on that note, if you are family, please make sure that y'all are subscribed with the notification bell on, and please like this video and let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Like, I just want to create open conversations, safe spaces where it's okay to agree to disagree and nobody gonna get hurt by it. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.